Yo, what up, YouTube? Alonso Q wanted to do a quick video for you about the second debate. Um, if you've been following the news before the second debate, you know that Donald Trump didn't win the first one. The consensus pretty much that Hillary won, and since then he's just been sort of treading water, man. It seems like he hasn't done well. I really, the last couple weeks been feeling like I might have jumped the gun on my prediction of Trump's gonna win because I said that when he had a good week, and he has not had a very good couple of weeks until tonight. You know, that was the big question going into this debate because he's facing a lot of controversy. He just had this grab him by the pussy thing. Um, and it's funny because last week Pence had his that Mexican whip out that Mexican thing again moment, and this was probably going to be a debate all about, or not all about, but I bet you they were going to do more attacks calling Trump a racist again, and then this grab him by the pussy thing came out, and that's how this debate opened up. It was super tense. It was a more productive debate than a lot of people were expecting because pretty much everybody was saying Donald Trump either needs to win this strong or he's out because he's facing so much controversy over these comments. And now I'm not going to get into the comments because I'm going to do a whole other video on that. I'm not sure if I'll do his misogyny and racism in one video or if it'll be separate videos, but I'll do that soon. Keep an eye out for that. And so that actually didn't take up too much time in the debate. I thought it was gonna go longer because he even invited Bill Clinton's rape accusers. Oh man, such a tense moment how that debate opened up. But overall, you know, the debate, I don't think it really added a lot. I think they hit a lot of the same talking points they hit last time. Uh, Hillary Clinton wants to grow government. Donald Trump, really, he also wants to grow government, but he wants to cut your taxes. And he claims to stand up for the Second Amendment. If you saw my other debate review, Donald Trump said some stuff that really bothered me about the Second Amendment, where I was questioning if I could vote for him after the things he said. He tried to make it more clear this time. You could tell that he's for the Second Amendment and Hillary Clinton isn't. But neither of them really made a strong case. Neither of them are really talking about underlying issues of the Constitution. They just brush on it. I'd really like to hear them expand more about the fundamental principle because I don't think they really get that. They don't get what shall not be infringed means. Anyway, that there was that issue. They didn't, they talked about healthcare, but they didn't really talk about it. Everything they talk about. They don't really talk about, man. Which really brings me to probably the most important point of the night and the whole election, and especially these debates, is how rigged this is, man. And the fact that Gary Johnson was not on that stage is an affront to the American people. He's number one with the military. He's number one with millennials. He's number one with independents. Actually, I'm not sure if he's number one with millennials, but he polls well with millennials. But he's number one with independents, number one with the military, the active duty military. And that is just such a shame that he's polling so well with such important demographics, and they're denying him the vote because they do skewed polls where they don't put his name in it, or they don't ask young people, they only call landlines and stuff. They do these super skewed polls, and then they say, oh well, you're only at 8%, you're only at 10%, and you need to be at 50%, you need to be at 15%. And what you need to know is this CPD, the Commission of Presidential Debates, is a private organization. It is not run by the government. The Democrats and Republicans are private organizations. They don't, they're electing our representatives, but they run their own thing, and so they collude together. The Commission of Presidential Debates is Democrats and Republicans exclusively. They make it up, so they get to write the rules. Now, how fair is that for two parties that to get to write the rules about if you let a third party in. So that's why they set the bar real high, and obviously there's incentives for these media outlets to go along with it and rig these polls so people like Gary Johnson and Jill Stein can't get in there. And Jill Stein, she could have got up to that 15% mark. You never know, man. They really mess things up. You never really know how easily one of these elections can turn, especially when both Trump and Clinton are more disliked than they're liked. So it's a travesty that we don't have Gary Johnson in the debates, especially because he's a successful 2-term governor, man. What the fuck? It's not like he's unqualified. Jill Stein's never held office. Gary Johnson was an executive. Everybody agrees that governors make good presidents. You know, you got experience in that department. So it's really a shame that they're not letting him in there. A lot of people have their problems with Gary Johnson. As you see, I got my Johnson Weld poster. They've got my vote, man. I'm going to push hard for Gary Johnson. And people should listen to his ideas. He's not the best libertarian, but he's a good moderate Republican. He's a reasonable ass guy, and he's a good man. You know, he's not bullshitting you. And he did something when he was governor of New Mexico that he promised he's going to take to the White House, and he called it Open Door After 4, where the third Thursday of every month, you know, once a month, he would open his office for half the day, and anybody in the state could make an appointment to talk to him. You know, this is a real guy. He's a real guy with real experience. He is a self-made businessman. He's not like Donald Trump, who got $1 million loan. He started a one-man handyman business and worked it from the ground up and turned it into a $1 million business and sold it, and it was one of the biggest employers in the city, if not the state. So he's a successful guy. He's smart. He's a little bit clumsy with his words, but he should be up there. And the fact that he's not debating, the American people are getting robbed this election because they hate these two candidates, and both of them, the debate is all about, well, look at the other guy, well, look at the other guy. That's the whole thing, you know. And it's, you know, when Donald Trump is talking about how bad Hillary sucks, it's easy to be like, yes, Hillary sucks. And I'm sure it's the other way for people who are just a little bit separated from me on the political spectrum, because I don't think Trump's that much better than Clinton. So I think it's easy to see how some people think Clinton is better than Trump. So all those people are gonna hear is Hillary Clinton talking shit about Trump, and they're gonna be like, yeah, Trump sucks. Same way I'm hyping up Trump, like, yeah, Clinton sucks. We're not getting anywhere. So the debate, I don't think a lot came out of it, except for the one thing that really mattered for Donald Trump, because like I said, he's treading water, and he needed to show that he could win, and he held his ground, man, considering that he was facing some harsh public opinion coming into this weekend. People are not happy with him. It's still the talk of the internet. People are not shutting up about this sexual assault controversy, his grab him by the pussy comments. This isn't gonna go away, but it's hard to say. You know, a lot of Republicans are jumping ship. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna talk about that in another video. But the thing is, people were talking about if he doesn't hold his ground in this debate, that he might have to drop out, and he held his ground in the debate. So this is gonna keep going forward. I think a lot of people were expecting him to crash and burn tonight, and he didn't. At least not in a lot of people's eyes. So this is getting interesting, but don't ignore the fact that you're getting cheated out of voices. There's somebody, and the thing about Gary Johnson is he's on the ballot in all 50 states. You need to realize that's a hard thing to do. So there's 3 people that are on the ballot in all 50 states, which means there should be 3 people on that stage, and you, the American people, are getting robbed because you probably agree with Gary Johnson more than you realize, and they're not letting you know about it. So look at the people who are sponsoring these debates, hit them up and tell them that you don't approve of this lack of democracy in our democratic process. And, talk to the parties, reach out, start making noise, say this is unfair. Look up Gary Johnson, because he didn't get a chance to share his voice, and neither did Jill Stein, because this Commission on Presidential Debates is holding the American people back. They're censoring voices in this debate. So call them out, look into it, and let's not let this happen again. It's getting close to the election. We're probably stuck with one of these two, but put an eye to the future, man. We gotta stop this shit. 2020 could be a brighter time for us. So, I don't think you need to see these debates. You'll probably see the highlights. I think Donald Trump won. I still think he's the lesser of two evils. I decided I'm not going to vote for evil, so I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson. But if you're going to vote for one of the two, I still recommend Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. But yeah, tell me what you think. Did you watch the debate? Who won? What was the most interesting point brought up? For me, I don't think there really was one. I think they didn't touch on anything I wanted to hear about. I hope next time they talk about immigration and they talk about education. Those are probably things that I'd like to hear them talk about a little bit more, because they just gave real vague answers tonight about foreign policy and about healthcare. So neither of them impressed me. Donald Trump held his ground, so I think by default he kind of wins. But let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.